Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Shower.
Hey guys, we are so happy to have you here with us today.
Before we start, if you enjoy our lessons, please subscribe to our channel.
Yes, your support really helps us keep making these videos for you.
Today, you'll learn how to talk about loneliness.
That's right. We're going to dive into the exact phrases and idioms you need to describe that feeling naturally in English.
It's a bit of a heavy topic, isn't it, Lisa?
It can be, but it's something everyone feels at some point.
Exactly. In the UK, we often talk about feeling isolated if we are far from people.
In the US, we might just say we're feeling lonesome.
Lonesome sounds quite poetic, like a country song.
It does, but we use lonely most of the time.
Sometimes people confuse being alone with being lonely.
Oh, that's a huge distinction. Being alone can be great.
Indeed. We call that solitude when it's a positive choice.
I love my solitude after a long day of talking to people.
I agree. As a writer, I need that quiet time to focus.
But when you want to be with people and can't, that's when the blues kick in.
The blues? Like feeling blue?
Exactly. I'm feeling a bit blue because I haven't seen my friends.
We also say feeling down in the dumps in England.
Down in the dumps. That sounds so dramatic.
It just means feeling sad or neglected.
Have you ever felt homesick since moving or traveling, Liam?
Oh, definitely. Missing the specific smell of rain on London pavement.
For me, it's missing the 24-hour diners back home.
That's a very specific kind of loneliness, longing for home.
We often use the phrase out of the loop when we feel left out.
Yes, like when friends have an inside joke and you weren't there.
It makes you feel like a third wheel sometimes.
Or in the UK, we might say a spare part.
A spare part? Like a piece of machinery?
Exactly, just sitting there not being used or needed.
That's a tough feeling. We also say left out in the cold.
That's a very descriptive idiom. Very chilly.
Let's talk about how to reach out to someone who might be lonely.
That's important. You might say, I've been thinking about you.
Or simply, how have you been holding up?
Holding up is a good one. It implies they might be going through a tough time.
And if you want to invite them out, you can say, do you want to grab a coffee?
Or fancy a chat in my neck of the woods.
Fancy a chat sounds so much more sophisticated.
It's just common talk for us, Lisa.
Sometimes social media makes people feel disconnected.
It's ironic, isn't it? Connected to everyone, yet feeling cut off.
I call it scroll-induced FOMO, fear of missing out.
FOMO is a massive factor in modern loneliness.
Seeing everyone's highlight reel while you're in your pajamas.
Exactly. You feel like you're drifting apart from the world.
Drifting apart is usually for relationships, right?
Yes, but you can feel it with your social circle too.
I think it's good to admit when we feel isolated.
It takes the power away from the feeling. Should we try a little practice session for our listeners?
Great idea. Let's do a mini role play.
Okay, in this scene, Lisa, you haven't been out for a week.
And you're the friend checking in on me?
Exactly. Let's start.
Hey, Lisa, I haven't seen you at the cafe lately. Everything all right? Oh, hey, Liam. Yeah, I've just been feeling a bit down in the dumps lately.
I'm sorry to hear that. Have you been feeling cut off from everyone?
A little bit. I feel like I'm out of the loop with our friend group.
Not at all. We've all been busy, but we miss your energy.
That's kind of you. I think I've just been stuck in a bit of a rut.
Why don't we grab a bite tomorrow? My treat.
I'd love that. I really need to get out of the house.
Perfect. No more solitude for you tomorrow.
Thanks, Liam. I feel better already.
That was a good example of how to use those phrases.
It's all about being honest about your mood and noticing when a friend is withdrawing.
Withdrawing is a very useful word here.
Like a turtle going into its shell.
Precisely. Sometimes people just need a nudge to come back out.
Speaking of shells, do you ever feel lonely in a big crowd?
Oh, that's the worst kind. Alone in a crowd.
It makes you feel invisible.
Like you're transparent or people are looking right through you.
I think finding your tribe is the solution to that.
Your tribe? You mean your community?
Yeah, people who get you, people who speak your language.
That's why our English shower community is so great.
Exactly. No one has to feel left out in the cold here.
We're all learning and growing together.
Even if we are oceans apart, like us, Liam.
Very true. Technology can bridge the gap.
So loneliness is the feeling, but connection is the cure.
Well said, Lisa.
We have so many more phrases to cover, don't we?
We do. Should we talk about alienation?
That sounds a bit formal, but it's very common in work settings.
Feeling alienated from your colleagues is a big problem,
It means you don't feel like you belong in that environment.
like a fish out of water.
I love that idiom. It's so visual.
It perfectly describes that awkward, out-of-place feeling.
Sometimes introverts and extroverts feel loneliness differently.
How so?
Well, as an extrovert, I feel lonely if I don't talk to 10 people a day.
And as an introvert, I only feel lonely if I don't have one deep conversation.
So the quantity of social interaction doesn't matter as much as the quality.
Spot on. One heart-to-heart is better than 100 small talks.
A heart to heart. That's a lovely expression.
It means a sincere and personal conversation,
We should encourage our listeners to have more heart to hearts.
especially if they are feeling lonesome.
Lisa, do you think people are more lonely now than in the past?
That's a deep question, Liam. Maybe we are just more aware of it.
We have labels for it now, like social anxiety,
True. Sometimes social anxiety leads to self-isolation.
which is a vicious cycle.
Vicious cycle? Can you explain that?
It's a situation where one problem causes another, which makes the first problem worse.
Like I feel lonely, so I stay home, which makes me more lonely.
Exactly. You have to break the cycle.
And the first step is reaching out.
Reaching out to a friend, a family member, or even a neighbor.
In the US, we say checking in on someone.
We use that too, just checking in to see how you're doing.
It's such a simple phrase, but it means a lot.
It really does. It shows that the person is on your mind.
You've been on my mind lately. That's a great way to start a call.
It's much better than just saying hi.
It adds a layer of care and warmth.
That's so true, Liam. Using the right words can really change the atmosphere of a conversation.
It shifts the focus from I am alone to I am cared for.
Let's talk about another aspect of loneliness, moving to a new city.
Oh, that is a classic lonely scenario. We call it being uprooted.
Uprooted? Like a plant being pulled out of the soil?
Exactly. You lose your grounding in your familiar surroundings.
When I moved, I felt like a small fish in a big pond.
It's overwhelming when nobody knows your name or your story.
I used to go to the same grocery store just to see a familiar face.
We call that seeking out a sense of belonging.
It takes time to plant new roots and feel at home again.
I remember when I first moved to London, I felt quite isolated in my tiny flat.
Did you have cabin fever?
Cabin fever. Yes, the feeling of being trapped indoors for too long.
It's a mix of boredom and loneliness. You just need to get some fresh air.
Sometimes even just sitting in a park near people helps ease the ache.
Ease the ache is a very beautiful way to describe it.
Loneliness can feel like a physical pain in your chest sometimes.
We call those growing pains if the loneliness leads to personal growth.
That's an optimistic way to look at it, Lisa.
Well, being lonely forces you to get to know yourself.
You become your own best friend in a way.
But you still need meaningful connections with others.
What about the phrase shutting people out?
That's when you're so lonely or hurt that you stop trying to connect.
It's like building a fortress around your heart.
And you become unreachable.
It's important to keep the door ajar, even if you're not ready to go out.
Ajar? That means slightly open, right?
Yes, just a little bit of space for someone to peek in.
I like that. It's less scary than opening the door all the way.
Sometimes people feel lonely because they are workaholics.
Oh, definitely. They are married to their jobs and forget their social life.
They wake up one day and realize they are all work and no play.
And then they feel empty inside despite their success.
Success is bittersweet if you have no one to share it with.
Bittersweet, that's a perfect word for it.
Let's discuss some social hobbies that help combat loneliness.
Joining a book club is a classic one.
Or a walking group, very popular in the UK.
In the US, people love volunteer work. It gives you a sense of purpose.
Helping others is a great way to get out of your own head.
Get out of your own head? You mean stop overthinking?
Exactly. Focus on someone else's well-being instead of your own loneliness.
It's a win-win situation.
Have you ever felt abandoned by a friend, Lisa?
That's a very sharp kind of loneliness, like being ghosted.
Ah, ghosting. A very modern and painful phenomenon.
It leaves you with so many unanswered questions.
It makes you feel disposable.
But we have to remember that it's not about us. It's about them.
True. Their inability to communicate isn't your fault.
We should also mention pet ownership.
A man's best friend. Dogs are great for companionship.
They provide unconditional love.
And they force you to go outside and talk to other dog owners.
It's an icebreaker. People always stop to pet a cute dog.
Even a cat can provide a soothing presence in a quiet house.
My cat is a night owl like me, so we're never lonely at 2 a.m.
I prefer the early morning silence with a hot cup of tea.
Even in that silence, do you ever feel connected to the world?
Yes. I think about all the other people waking up at the same time.
That's a collective experience. We aren't as singular as we think.
We are all in the same boat, navigating this life.
In the same boat. We use that all the time for shared struggles.
Let's talk about the phrase long-distance relationships.
Oh, talk about virtual loneliness.
Being miles apart from the person you love most.
You're connected by a screen, but separated by space.
You have to make an effort to keep the spark alive.
Sending care packages is a great way to show you care.
Or voice notes. Hearing a voice is more intimate than a text.
I agree. Texts can feel a bit cold sometimes.
A voice has inflection and emotion.
It makes you feel like the person is right there with you.
Almost, but not quite.
Liam, have you ever heard the expression, the loneliness of the long-distance runner?
Yes, it's a famous book title. It refers to solitary struggle.
Sometimes chasing your dreams can be a lonely path.
People might not understand your vision,
You might have to walk alone for a while.
but that perseverance is what leads to success.
And eventually, you find people who share your passion.
Exactly. You find your kindred spirits.
Kindred spirits. That's such a whimsical term.
It means people whose souls resonate with yours.
I think our listeners are our kindred spirits in learning English.
I couldn't agree more. We are all striving for better communication.
Communication is the antidote to isolation.
Speaking of which, how do you strike up a conversation with a stranger?
I usually comment on the weather. It's a safe bet.
That's the most British thing you've ever said, Lisa.
Hey, it works. Or I give a compliment on their shoes or bag.
A compliment is a door opener,
It makes people light up and feel noticed.
and it only takes a split second to say something kind.
You never know. You might be the only person they talk to that day.
That's a sobering thought.
It really makes you value every interaction.
Small talk isn't meaningless. It's a bridge.
A bridge to deeper understanding.
Let's look at some phrases for feeling out of place.
Like being a square peg in a round hole.
That's a classic. It means you just don't fit in.
Or feeling like an outsider.
Sometimes being an outsider gives you a unique perspective,
True. You can observe the world differently.
but it's still nice to be invited to the party.
Metaphorically and literally.
We should also touch upon loneliness in the elderly.
That's a heartbreaking topic. Many seniors feel forgotten.
We say they are shut-ins if they can't leave their homes,
A simple phone call can make their whole week.
or dropping by with some groceries or a newspaper.
It's about community spirit.
We are social animals after all.
Even the most rugged individualist needs a hug sometimes.
Rugged individualist. That's a very American concept.
We love our independence, but we love our potluck dinners too.
A potluck. That's where everyone brings a dish to share?
Exactly. It's the ultimate community meal.
No one goes home hungry or lonely.
That's the spirit of togetherness.
We should have an English shower potluck one day.
That would be amazing. Everyone bringing food from their country.
Now that would be a melting pot of cultures.
And languages.
I'll bring the tea and scones.
And I'll bring the apple pie and coffee.
A perfect match, just like our podcast.
You're getting sentimental on me, Liam.
Perhaps a little. Talking about loneliness makes you appreciate company.
It really does. I'm grateful for our chats.
Me too, Lisa. Me too.
Before we move on, let's talk about holiday loneliness.
Christmas blues or being alone on your birthday.
It's the contrast between the festive world and your quiet room.
It amplifies the feeling of being alone.
Many people volunteer at shelters during the holidays to cope
It's a way to connect with humanity on a deeper level.
and to give back to the community.
It's hard to feel self-pity when you're helping someone in need.
Self-pity is a dangerous trap.
It keeps you spiraling downwards.
You have to look upwards and reach outwards.
Beautifully put, Lisa.
Let's do one more role play about inviting a neighbor over.
Great. I'll be the new neighbor who looks a bit lost.
And I'll be the friendly neighbor from across the street.
Ready when you are.
Hi there. I'm Lisa from house number 5. I noticed you just moved in.
Oh, hello. Yes, I'm Liam. It's been a bit hectic with all the boxes.
I bet. It can be exhausting to set up a new home all by yourself.
It is. I'm still trying to find my way around the neighborhood.
Well, I'm having a few friends over for game night tonight. Would you like to join us?
That's very kind of you. I don't want to intrude, though.
Not at all. We'd love to get to know you. It's very casual.
In that case, I'd love to come. I was starting to feel a bit homesick for my old friends.
We'll make you feel right at home here. See you at 7?
See you at 7. Thanks for reaching out, Lisa.
No problem at all, neighbor.
That was a perfect example of breaking the ice.
And welcoming someone into the fold.
Into the fold, like a flock of sheep?
Exactly. It means making them part of the group.
It's a very warm expression.
I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have, from isolated to kindred spirits.
And fish out of water to part of the fold.
Loneliness is a universal human experience.
But it doesn't have to be a permanent state.
There is always a light at the end of the tunnel.
And usually that light is another person's smile.
You're being the poetic one now, Lisa.
I guess it's contagious.
We still have some time. Should we dive into social media's role a bit more?
Definitely. It's a double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword. You mean it has pros and cons?
Exactly. It can connect you with old friends, but make you feel left out of new things.
It creates a distorted reality.
People only post their best moments.
You don't see their lonely Sunday afternoons.
Exactly. It's a curated life.
We should remind our listeners that social media is not real life,
Real life happens in the face-to-face interactions.
even if it's awkward or imperfect.
Imperfection is human.
And humanity is what cures loneliness.
What about the term social butterfly?
Oh, someone who is very social and moves from person to person.
Sometimes even a social butterfly can feel lonely.
Because their connections are superficial.
Superficial? You mean shallow or on the surface?
Yes, they have 1,000 acquaintances but no close friends.
That's the irony of being popular.
It's better to have 4 quarters than 100 pennies.
I love that. 4 quarters are the valuable close friends.
And the pennies are just people you know.
Quality over quantity, every single time.
We've really explored the depths of loneliness today, haven't we, Lisa?
We definitely have. It's such a complex emotion.
But as we said, communication and reaching out are the best tools we have.
Before we wrap up the main talk, I want to mention solitary hobbies again.
Like gardening or painting?
Yes, things that make you feel fulfilled, even when you are by yourself.
That's the key to turning loneliness into solitude.
It's about being comfortable in your own skin.
Comfortable in your own skin. That means being confident with who you are?
Exactly. When you like yourself, being alone doesn't feel like a punishment.
That is a very powerful mindset shift. Well, I think we have covered enough for everyone to start expressing their feelings.
I agree. Now, let's move on to our review and recap section.
This is where we look back at the key phrases and useful vocabulary from today.
First, we talked about the difference between alone and lonely.
Right. And remember the word solitude for that positive, peaceful alone time.
Then we had some great idioms like down in the dumps and feeling blue.
Those are perfect for when you're feeling a bit sad or isolated.
Don't forget out of the loop for when you feel like you're missing out on information.
And my favorite British one, feeling like a spare part.
And I introduced left out in the cold and being a third wheel.
We also discussed homesickness and the feeling of being uprooted.
Those are so common when you move to a new environment.
For the more serious feelings, we mentioned alienation and withdrawing.
And the vicious cycle of staying home because you feel lonely.
To break the cycle, you need to reach out or check in on others.
I loved the phrase kindred spirits for people who really understand you.
And finding your tribe to describe finding your community.
We also warned about social media being a double-edged sword.
It can lead to FOMO, so remember to focus on face-to-face interactions.
And finally, quality over quantity. 4 quarters are better than 100 pennies.
Such a great list of expressions today. I hope our listeners find them useful.
I'm sure they will. Even just knowing the words can make you feel less alone.
That's the goal of English Shower. Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode.
Thank you so much for tuning in and spending time with us.
We really value your presence in our community.
If you found this lesson helpful, please give us a thumbs up.
And don't forget to leave a comment below.
Have you ever felt like a fish out of water?
We'd love to hear your stories and how you overcame those feelings.
Your comments help other learners feel connected too.
So hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already.
We'll be back soon with more English tips and heart-to-heart chats.
Until then, take care of yourselves and each other.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, guys. See you in the next one.